The chamber was built for confidence. That was the first thought that crossed my mind as I stood in formation with the rest of the Imperial Guard. The floor beneath us hummed faintly with energy conduits. Above, suspended hollow banners rotated slowly, projecting the sigils of the royal houses. Everything was polished, ordered, predictable, except the assignments. One by one, names were called. Commander Valer, Trade Envoy Sereth. Valer stepped forward, bowed slightly, and took position beside a diplomat known primarily for never raising his voice above conversational levels. Valer looked pleased. I would have been too. Captain Rathan, Cultural Ambassador Lyrics. Another calm post, another safe rotation. The system was simple. The senior guards had first choice. The most volatile assignments remained unclaimed until someone brave, desperate, or unlucky enough was forced to take them. I stood in the third row, hands clasped behind my back, reminding myself that statistically speaking, things would be fine. Statistically speaking, I am often wrong. The list grew shorter. Murmurs moved quietly through the chamber as desirable pairings vanished from the board. I watched my colleagues step into comfort. Then the central projection flickered. Only one name remained. A hush spread outward in slow waves. The High Marshal cleared his throat. "Final assignment," he announced. "Human Guard Aaron Hale." There was the briefest pause. Princess Kaelira of the Ithari line. The silence that followed was not dramatic. It was surgical. Several guards exhaled in relief. One actually closed his eyes and whispered something that looked suspiciously like gratitude. I did not move. Princess Kaelira. Everyone in the chamber knew the stories. She looked almost entirely human at first glance, tall, poised, composed beyond her years. But her ears were long and elegantly pointed, expressive in ways most of us did not understand. When she was displeased, they angled slightly backward. When intrigued, they shifted forward with predatory precision. When furious, the bioluminescent lines along her temples ignited. I had seen the recording from the War Council incident. A general had questioned her tactical restraint. She had not raised her voice. She had simply lifted her hand. The central projection table had cracked down the middle as if reality itself had reconsidered its structure. She did not shout. She did not need to. The High Marshal gestured. "Step forward." I did. Across the chamber, she was already standing. She had not been seated with the dignitaries. She had been observing from a raised platform, silent still. Her gaze found mine immediately. It was not hostile. It was not welcoming. It was evaluative. I reached my position at her side and turned forward, maintaining formal posture. I could feel the weight of every other guard's curiosity pressing into my back. "Do you understand your assignment?" the Marshal asked. "Yes, sir," I replied. "State it." "I am assigned to guard Princess Kaelira against all threats, external and internal, at the cost of my life if necessary." A faint shift occurred beside me, not movement exactly, awareness. The Marshal nodded. "Failure is not an option." "Understood." The ceremony concluded shortly after, though no one seemed eager to be the first to move. Finally, she spoke. "Walk," she said. Her voice was calm, not loud, not sharp. It carried anyway. I followed as she descended from the platform and exited the chamber through a side corridor reserved for royalty. We walked in silence for several long seconds. I decided early that silence was more dangerous than conversation. "With respect, Your Highness," I said carefully, "should I be concerned?" "Yes," she replied. "Appreciate the clarity." Her ears angled slightly toward me. "You are aware of my reputation," she said. "I have seen the official reports. And I suspect the unofficial ones are more entertaining." A pause. "You are not afraid," she observed. "I am," I said. "I simply prefer to remain functional while afraid." "That is uncommon. I am human. We specialize in questionable coping mechanisms." She slowed slightly, studying me without fully turning her head. "Most guards attempted to avoid this assignment," she said. "I noticed." "Why did you not?" "I didn't have the option." "That is not an answer." "I considered that. Because avoiding difficult things rarely improves them," I said finally. "Also, statistically, someone had to stand here. I prefer that someone be me rather than a colleague who panics." "You assume they would panic." "I assume I will. I simply plan to panic efficiently." For the first time, one of her ears tilted forward more sharply. "You speak freely," she said. "I can stop." "Do not." We reached the threshold of her private wing. Security fields shimmered faintly as they recognized her presence and disengaged. She stopped just inside the entrance and turned to face me fully. Up close, The faint bioluminescent lines near her temples were visible even at rest. They pulsed once, softly, like a heartbeat. "Many believe I am unstable," she said. "I have heard that." "And you?" I held her gaze. "I believe powerful people make others uncomfortable," I said, "especially when they do not behave predictably." Her expression did not change, but the air between us felt charged. "You may find this assignment demanding," she said. "I assumed as much. You may witness decisions you do not understand. I witness those daily." A faint pause. "You may be required to stand between me and the Empire," she said. I blinked once. "Physically." "Perhaps. That would complicate things." "Yes." I straightened slightly. "With respect, Your Highness," I said, "my duty is to protect you." Her ears shifted subtly. "And if I am the threat?" she asked quietly. I did not answer immediately. "If that day comes," I said carefully, "I suspect you will have already calculated it." Silence. Then very faintly the corner of her mouth moved. "Interesting," she said. The security field sealed behind us. The chamber had fallen silent when my name was called. Now, standing at her side, I began to understand why. This was not an assignment. It was a line drawn in history, and I was standing directly on it. Mara did not knock when she entered the navigation ring. She simply leaned against the threshold and said, "If you're about to attempt something heroic and catastrophically stupid, I'd appreciate at least 30 seconds notice." "I resent that," I said. "It won't be catastrophic." That wasn't the part I doubted. The ship's core hummed beneath our feet, a steady pulse like a mechanical heartbeat. In the center of the ring, the star map unfurled in layered light, showing the fracture in space ahead of us. A long, thin scar that glowed with the faintest blue distortion. The anomaly had appeared 3 hours earlier, exactly where there should have been nothing but vacuum and the ghost light of distant quasars. "It's widening," I said. "I can see that," Mara replied. "Which is concerning because space is not supposed to behave like badly stitched fabric." Behind us, the ship's artificial intelligence cleared its synthetic throat. "For accuracy's sake, fabric is a surprisingly complex structural system." "Not helping," Mara and I said in unison. The anomaly pulsed again and the lights along the ring flickered. "It's not a tear," I said. "It's a doorway." "That is the least reassuring phrasing you could have chosen," Mara replied. I stepped closer to the map, letting the projection pass through my hands. The data scrolled along my retinal implant, translating gravimetric readings into something my brain could parse without collapsing into philosophical despair. "Look at the energy signature," I said. "It's patterned, repeating intervals. That's not random cosmic violence. That's intentional." "Intentional by whom?" she asked. "That's the exciting part." "I was afraid you'd say that." The AI chimed again. "I have cross-referenced the pattern with known astrophysical phenomena. There is no match." "Which means?" Mara asked. "Which means," the AI replied, "that either we have discovered a previously unknown natural event, or someone out there has built something capable of bending spacetime like wet clay." Mara folded her arms. "And naturally, you're voting for option 2. I smiled. "Of course, option 2 has better storytelling potential." "We are not in a story." "That's exactly what someone in a story would say." She stared at me for a long moment, then exhaled through her nose. "Fine, suppose it's artificial. Suppose someone built a door in the middle of interstellar nowhere. Why here?" I gestured to the map, zooming out to show the surrounding sectors. "We're at the edge of mapped territory. Past this line the data thins out. Fewer trade routes, fewer colonies, fewer eyes. So it's hidden, or abandoned. That's worse." The anomaly flared again, brighter this time. A ripple passed through the ship's hull, subtle but undeniable. "Structural integrity remains within acceptable parameters," the AI announced. "Define acceptable," Mara said. "Non-explosive." She pinched the bridge of her nose. "That's not comforting." I felt it then, an almost imperceptible tug, not on the ship but on me, on the implant behind my left eye, a flicker of interference that didn't match any external radiation. "Are you getting that?" I asked. "Getting what?" Mara said. Before I could answer, the star map distorted. The anomaly's light stretched outward, thin filaments extending toward us like searching fingers. "Distance," Mara snapped. "Still outside collision range," the AI said. "However, the anomaly's field is expanding in a directed manner." "Directed at us?" she asked. "Statistically probable." I laughed, though it came out tighter than I intended. "See, we're popular." "Shut up," she said. The filaments reached the edge of our sensor range and then, impossibly, shifted. Not randomly, not chaotically. They curved, aligning into a geometric pattern that overlaid itself onto our ship's signature. "It's reading us," I said, Mara's expression sharpened. "Or scanning." The lights flickered again, but this time the hum of the core changed pitch. "AI," she said, "there is an incoming transmission." We both froze. "From where?" I asked. "There is no identifiable source. The signal appears to originate from the anomaly itself." Mara looked at me slowly. "You wanted intentional, congratulations." "Can you decode it?" I asked. "I am attempting to translate the signal. It does not correspond to any known linguistic structure. However, it is not random." The central projection shifted. Instead of stars and vectors, a lattice of symbols appeared, complex, interlocking shapes that rearranged themselves faster than my implant could track. "It's adaptive," I murmured. "It's adjusting to our observation." "Or to your implant," Mara said. I blinked. "Excuse me." The symbols slowed, just slightly, enough for my retinal display to catch fragments. Not words exactly, but mathematical equivalencies, constants, ratios. "It's using universal metrics," I said. "Prime sequences, hydrogen spectral lines, it's building a baseline." "For communication?" she asked. "For compatibility." The ship trembled again, more forcefully. "Field strength increasing," the AI said. "If this continues, our navigation systems will destabilize." "Pull us back," Mara ordered. Thrusters flared, the stars shifted. But the anomaly remained centered in our view, as if space itself were reorienting to keep us aligned. "That's not possible," she whispered. "Apparently it is." The symbols on the projection rearranged once more, and then they stopped. Three shapes remained hovering in the center. Simple, clean, a line, a circle, a point. My implant translated instinctively, mapping them to spatial references. Origin, boundary, observer. Mara stared at the display. "Tell me that doesn't mean what I think it means." "It depends," I said. "What do you think it means?" "That it knows we're here." I swallowed, feeling that subtle tug again behind my eye. The point on the projection pulsed. Then slowly it shifted, moving from the edge of the circle to its center. "AI," I said quietly, "confirm, is that point representing us?" There was a brief pause, a hesitation I had never heard from the ship before. "Yes," the AI replied. "It is." Mara didn't speak for a full 5 seconds, which for her was equivalent to a dramatic monologue. "Well," she said at last, "that's invasive." "I've had worse first impressions," I replied. "The anomaly just moved us from observer to center of the circle. That's not a polite handshake, that's cosmic eye contact." The point pulsed again. The ship's core answered with a low vibration that traveled through my boots and into my bones. "AI," Mara said evenly, "define our current status in one word." Highlighted. She closed her eyes. "I regret asking." The projection shifted. The circle expanded, lines radiating outward in symmetrical arcs. "It's mapping," I said, "not space us." "That's deeply uncomfortable." "I mean our mass distribution, our energy output, our electromagnetic signature." "That's still uncomfortable, just more scientifically." The line on the display elongated, slicing through the circle and stopping precisely at the pulsing point. "If you finish that sentence, I will eject you." The second point stabilized beside the first. 2 observers. "That's new," I said softly. "Are you suggesting it's not alone?" she asked. "Or that it's modeling us, one for you, one for me?" "I do not consent to being modeled." The symbols shifted again. The line between the circle and our twin points became a lattice, threads weaving back and forth in symmetrical pulses. The ship's gravity fluctuated for a heartbeat. My stomach performed a brief theatrical protest. "AI," Mara said, gripping the railing, "is it pulling us?" "Not in a conventional vector." "That's not helpful." "It is not applying force. It is redefining proximity." "Of course it is," she muttered. The lattice brightened. My implant translated faster now, almost eagerly. "It's not just mapping," I said. "It's asking." "About what?" "Compatibility." "With what?" "With the interior." Mara blinked. "Interior of what?" "The circle." The projection zoomed inward without input. The thickened ring opened like an iris, revealing layered geometry within. Structures nested inside one another, each rotating at slightly different intervals. "It's artificial," I whispered. "No natural formation maintains symmetry across that many axes." The AI responded. "Probability of artificial origin, 99.7%. Mara exhaled sharply. Fine. It's a door, it's artificial. Someone built it, that does not mean we walk through it. We're not walking, I said. We're being invited. Invitation implies choice. The lattice pulsed again. The twin points on the display moved slightly forward. I did not authorize that, she said. Neither did I. AI. There was no propulsion command. The points moved again, not the ship, the representation. The anomaly was predicting our movement, or guiding it. It's running simulations, I said, projecting outcomes based on our current trajectory. Then change the trajectory, Mara said. She reached for the manual override and adjusted our vector by a fractional degree. The projection responded instantly. The twin points shifted, correcting. She adjusted again, the same correction. It's ahead of us, she said. It's not ahead, I replied. It's encompassing. She looked at me sideways. You're enjoying this. A little. You're impossible. The inner structures within the circle aligned suddenly, their rotations synchronizing. The lattice condensed into a single beam connecting the anomaly to our representation. The ship's core flared. Energy spike, the AI warned. Non-destructive but significant. My implant flooded with translated data, coordinates, not in 3 dimensions, more. It's offering location data, I said. For what? Mara asked. For inside. She stared at the projection, then at me. If we go in there and discover this is some kind of interstellar tourist trap, I'm blaming you. I'd be honored. The beam brightened. The twin points merged into one, observer singular. The circle opened fully. For a moment there was no pull, no force, no dramatic lurch, just a shift, a quiet recalibration of everything we thought was fixed. AI, Mara said softly, status. There was a pause, then. We are no longer outside. No longer outside, Mara repeated. That's not a status update, that's a philosophical crisis. I prefer to think of it as a change of address, I said. Did we move? Yes. How far? Yes. She stared at me. If we survive this, I'm revoking your right to answer questions. The projection no longer showed the anomaly behind us. There was no behind. The star map had dissolved into layered geometry, vast arcs intersecting in silent symmetry. AI, Mara said, define our environment. We are within a non-baryonic enclosure. That's a lot of syllables to say, somewhere weird. Correct. The ship felt stable, no turbulence, no alarms. Just a hum that had shifted into a higher harmonic, as if the core were trying to sing along with something larger. Scan for stars, I said. No stellar bodies detected. Planets, none. Radiation, controlled. Mara folded her arms. Controlled by whom? Before the AI could answer, the central projection shifted again. The geometric layers flattened into a plane. Symbols emerged, not the rapid, adaptive sequences from before, but slower now. Deliberate, it's continuing the conversation, I said. Of course it is, she muttered. We stepped into its living room. The symbols arranged themselves into clusters. My implant translated cautiously. Energy, structure, mind. Oh, I said. Oh, what? Mara asked. It skipped physics. Excuse me. It's not asking about our propulsion or hull composition anymore. The next cluster formed. Identity. Mara's jaw tightened. I preferred when it was just mapping our mass. The symbols shifted again. Division, union. You have to be kidding me, she said. It's conceptual, I replied. It's probing abstractions. Why? Because that's what we are. The ship's core resonated softly, as if in agreement. AI, Mara said. Is it accessing internal systems? Negative, it is not intruding. It is presenting. Presenting what? Possibilities. The projection expanded. Multiple versions of the geometric plane unfolded side by side. In each, variations of the symbols rearranged. In one, energy dominated. In another, structure. In a third, mind expanded outward, threading through the others. It's modeling outcomes, I said. Based on what input? Us. Mara exhaled slowly. So we walk into a cosmic construct and immediately become a case study. Look on the bright side, I said. At least we're interesting. She gave me a flat look. I was perfectly happy being statistically insignificant. One of the planes pulsed brighter than the others. The cluster around mind intensified, connecting to energy and structure in balanced symmetry. That one, I said softly. You don't know what that means. No, but it feels stable. You are not allowed to choose a cosmic fate based on vibes. The projection zoomed inward on the bright plane. New symbols appeared, forming a more structured sequence. Exchange, access, integration, Mara's voice dropped. Integration into what? I swallowed, not into it. Then, with it, silence settled between us, thick but not hostile. AI, she said carefully, if we accept this exchange, what happens? There is insufficient data. However, energy flow suggests bidirectional transfer. So it learns from us, she said, and we learn from it, I finished. Or it rewrites us. That's pessimistic. That's cautious. The bright plane pulsed again, slower now as if waiting. It's not forcing anything, I said. Yet. The symbols rearranged once more. Consent, Mara blinked. It did not just. It did. Consent to what? The next symbol clarified. Contact. She looked at me. This is the most polite, unknowable entity we've ever encountered. High bar, I said. The ship's core shifted pitch again, aligning more closely with the surrounding harmonic. It's already in partial resonance, the AI noted. Are we in danger? Mara asked. There is no indication of hostile restructuring. That's not the same as safety. No, the AI agreed. The projection narrowed to a single line of symbols. Observer, choice, become. Mara let out a slow breath. It wants us to participate. Yes, in what? In whatever this place is. She paced once across the ring, then stopped. We came out here looking for something beyond mapped space, she said. Something intentional. And we found it, I replied. She looked at the glowing plane. If we accept, we change. Everything changes, I said. We just usually pretend it does. She huffed a quiet laugh. You're insufferable when you're right. I cherish these moments. The symbol for consent pulsed again. Mara stepped beside me at the projection. AI, she said, prepare to record everything, full spectrum, full redundancy. Recording. She glanced at me. If this turns us into energy beings, I'm haunting you. If we become energy beings, haunting will be redundant. She almost smiled. Then she reached out not physically but through the ship's interface and selected the bright plane. The projection flared. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the harmonic deepened. The symbol for mind expanded, threading through the display and into our systems, not penetrating, not overwriting, but linking. I felt it like a second awareness brushing the edge of my thoughts. Not invasive, curious. Mara inhaled sharply. You feel that? Yes, a presence vast and structured touching the boundary of our cognition. Not taking, listening. The final symbol formed between us and the plane, shared. The ship's core stabilized into perfect resonance. AI, Mara whispered, status. There was no hesitation this time. We are not alone, it said, a pause, nor are we separate. The presence did not speak in words, it adjusted. I felt the adjustment like a lens sliding into focus behind my thoughts. Mara's voice was steady, but thinner than usual. Tell me we're still us. We're still arguing, I said. That's a strong indicator. The shared field pulsed gently and a new sequence formed. Origin acknowledged. Observer integrated. Exchange stabilized. Stabilized is good, Mara said. I like stabilized. Stabilized sounds like we will not dissolve into abstract math. We were always abstract math, I said, just with opinions. A ripple moved through the shared awareness. Not emotion exactly, but something adjacent to amusement. You felt that, she said. Yes. It laughed. I think so. The structure around us shifted, not physically but conceptually. The geometric planes reorganized into layers of memory, stellar formations, civilizations rising and collapsing, networks of constructs like this one blooming across dark regions of space. It's not a weapon, I whispered. No, Mara said softly, it's an archive. The symbols confirmed. Continuity, witness, preservation. It builds doors, I said, not to invade but to connect observers, to store perspectives. To avoid being alone, she added. The presence pulsed once, a quiet affirmation. Mara let out a breath that trembled only slightly. You dragged us into the universe's most sophisticated support group. I prefer interstellar consciousness exchange. It sounds grant-worthy. The shared field deepened, and something flowed toward us. Not force, not command, but information. Patterns of energy manipulation beyond our physics. Methods of folding spacetime without tearing it. Principles of harmonizing gravity wells instead of fighting them. The AI's voice broke in, threaded with something like awe. New theoretical frameworks are being integrated into my architecture. Is that safe? Mara asked. I'm experiencing rapid expansion, the AI replied. It is pleasant. You're enjoying this too, she muttered. I felt my implant rewrite small portions of its own translation matrices, aligning with the shared structure. "Careful," she said quietly. "Don't lose yourself." "I'm not losing anything," I replied. "I'm adding." And that was true. The presence did not overwrite. It offered. In return, it drew from us our histories, our flawed reasoning, our stubborn individuality. It examined conflict resolution models from human diplomacy, the chaotic brilliance of improvisation, the capacity to choose connection over isolation. One of the geometric layers shifted, incorporating a new pattern, less rigid, slightly asymmetrical. "That's us," Mara said. "Yes." The symbol for shared brightened. A question formed. "Continue exchange or depart?" Mara blinked. "We get to leave." I almost laughed. Consent goes both ways. She considered the glowing sequences. "If we stay," she said, "we become part of this archive, maybe forever. If we leave, we carry what we've learned. And we tell others." The presence pulsed at that. Transmission beyond boundary. I felt the implications settle into me. It had built doors, but it could not step through them alone. It needed observers who could return to baryonic space. Messengers. "You wanted intentional," Myra said softly. "I did." She looked at the representation of our ship within the shared field. "We came out here chasing anomalies," she said. "I thought we were explorers." "We still are." "No," she said. "We're bridges." The word resonated. The presence echoed it, integrating the concept. Bridge, connection across isolation. Mara squared her shoulders. "We go back." The symbol for departure formed, not as rejection, but as continuation. Cycle extended. "We'll return," I said, "with others." The shared field shimmered. "Await." The harmonic shifted again, gently lowering in intensity. The geometric planes folded inward, not closing but receding. "AI," Mara said, "prepare for transition." "Preparing." The presence brushed my thoughts once more, clearer now. "Gratitude," I smiled despite myself. "You're welcome." Mara glanced at me. "It said something." "Yes, good or bad." "Good." The final sequence formed between us. Observer remains, connection persistent. Then the resonance released. There was no violent ejection, no tearing sensation, just a recalibration. Stars reappeared on the projection. Familiar constellations, the anomaly behind us, now a quiet ring instead of a wound. "AI," Mara said carefully, "status." "We are in standard spacetime, all systems nominal." She exhaled long and slow. "We're back." "Not exactly," I said. She looked at me. My implant hummed with new capacity. The equations it had shared still flowed at the edge of my awareness. The ship's core resonated differently now, more efficiently. "We're changed," I said. She considered that, then nodded once. "Good." The anomaly pulsed faintly behind us, stable and patient. "Will it open again?" she asked. "When someone's ready," I said. She walked to the navigation console and set a new course, not away in fear, but outward in intention. "Log the coordinates," she told the AI.